Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia here and welcome back to Overwatch. So, I was actually, I'm not going to lie, struggling for video ideas for this Saturday, but while I was streaming I was thinking, what comps do I hate playing against the most in Overwatch? And it's just kind of turned itself into a video idea, and then here we are. So, my top 3 most hated comps in Overwatch. What could they be? We're going to start off with one that made an appearance not long ago, with the introduction of a certain map called Junkertown. Yes, I'm talking about the pirate ship. The good old pirate ship. The pirate ship can come in different forms, but two things it always does have is a Bastion and an Orisa, and it only ever works on payload maps. So, sometimes the pirate ship can come with different aspects, but generally you have a mercy damage boost in the Bastion, behind an Orisa shield, all of it sat on the payload. It can be very hard to stop, especially once it gets going. The footage you're seeing in the background is of me playing this pirate ship, me playing Reinhardt. This is another one where you can use 2 tanks, but both of them are shield tanks, Reinhardt at the back and Orisa at the front. And then it gets even harder to shut down. It can get pretty difficult. Now, this comp is very boom or bust, because if you can get it rolling, then it can be unstoppable. But if it doesn't get started, then I suggest you switch up the Bastion comp, because it won't work. Because the comp relies heavily on getting the Bastion on the payload with a shield so he can stay on there. And if you can't do that, then it's no use running the comp, because a Bastion out in the open, especially on place like Junkertown without shields, is useless because of the sightlines. But one thing I have seen is this strategy has actually been morphing its way onto other maps. I've seen it on Dorado, notably. I haven't seen it so much on King's Row, but you have to take the point first. It's very often just your straight payload maps where you don't have to take the payload first, not the hybrids. Hybrids can be very difficult to play that Bastion comp unless you switch to the Bastion comp after you've taken the point, which is also something we've seen before. Something else we did see in the Overwatch League at one point was it used on Umbani, but in a different way. It oddly didn't have a Bastion, it had an Orisa with a Torb. I think it was by Houston Outlaws, and it was Jake playing Torbjorn. Now that didn't really work, from what I remember. I think it got them to second point though. But then they switched off it pretty quickly. I think it's most effective with Bastion, because if you can't kill that Bastion will shred. It doesn't matter what's in front of it. There's not even a 4-second defense matrix anymore. There's 2 seconds from D.Va, so it's very hard. It will shred Reinhardt's shield at 2000 HP. It will shred Orisa shields, and Orisa, yeah, she has a pretty good shield uptime, but not that good. So once it gets going, it can shred teams to pieces, and you can find yourself with 5 minutes at the end of a map, and a very good win condition. Going up against it is bloody horrible. You've got to get that. You've got to get that synergy and that comp right to counter it. Obviously, what's very effective? Mei is very effective because she can wall up the Bastion above the shields, and then you can kill the Bastion. If you have that sort of coordination in your team though, which very rarely happens in comp. Also, we have the Hanzo. Now, Hanzo's dragons obviously can move everyone off the payload, so that's obviously probably one of the best things you can do, and Hanzo is also very good at shredding shields as well. So as soon as you take the shields down in front of a Bastion, it's very good, because obviously you can then get to that Bastion with Hanzo and long range damage. You should be able to delete the Bastion. So that's the pirate ship. Something that came in with Junkertown, and we've been seeing on other maps occasionally, but mainly on Junkertown. And it can be a nightmare to stop at times, but also, it's very boom or bust, and, it either works or it doesn't. Then, number 2. Now, we're moving into more recent times now. Mei. Mei can be a nightmare to play against, but when you put Mei with a stun hero, I'm talking about Brigitte, I'm talking about McCree, it can get very frustrating. Because you get frozen, stunned, frozen, and then we get back to this CC thing that's like dominating Overwatch right now. Absolutely dominating. It makes it very unpleasant to play. Now, I posted something on Twitter the other day. Why does Mei's freeze go through barriers? It's a primary fire. Why does it go through barriers? That's a really good question, you know. I wonder if does it freeze a Zarya if she's in bubble? I don't think it does. And in that case, that's a bit weird. But Mei is obviously a nightmare because she can just keep freezing. And Mei, obviously with the buff that her freeze now penetrates, she can just freeze a whole team. As you might be seeing in the background, I know there was a part on... This is all stream footage, by the way. Me playing comp. There was a point on Volskaya, second point, where I walled and I had this little gap and I just froze through the gap. And it freezes everyone if they want to be in that gap. It's crazy. I really don't think she needed that penetration in her fire. For a freeze, it's very, very annoying. And Mei's never been a nice hero to play against, in my opinion. Blizzard never, or the devs never really... They always said they didn't want to take control of your heroes away from you yet. They brought all this stun into the game, and it's like a bit bizarre, because they seem to be not now going down the road of taking control of your character away from you. And you know, I've had moments as Reinhardt where I've been stunned, frozen, bashed, stunned, frozen, and I literally can't play the game. I could take my hands off the keyboard because I can't do anything. And that's frustrating. So, what helps against a Mei strategy? Now, obviously Mei has a ice block, which can regen her health. The best thing against a Mei strategy is just long range damage. Long range damage, Mei can't really touch you apart from the endothermic blast. But again, that's projectile. It's you need to be in a crazy good aim with Mei to get long range damage with that endothermic blaster. But if you're close to her, obviously you get frozen on the spot. You know, it's ridiculous. Now, obviously, Mei is kind of stronger at the moment with the meta that's running, and I'm talking about less dive, more Reinhardt and Zarya and things like that. But she's not as used as I thought she would be, and I think that's mainly because of Hanzo. I think Hanzo just inflicts so much damage, and because he's long range as well, he can actually deal with Mei quite effectively. So that was 2. 3. Now, 3 is one I'm sure everyone can relate with. 3 is the Zarya combo. It's my most hated comp in the game. Why is that? Because Zarya takes most of the control, especially movement control, of your character away from you, and it doesn't matter how good or bad the Zarya is, if she just happens to land a good grab, your team is dead. Especially in this meta with a certain hero called Hanzo. The Zarya ult combo is absolutely ridiculous. Now, it's not just a Zarya and a Hanzo. A Zarya Hanzo is the most effective, right? Because it deals the most damage. Especially, little known fact, right? You can damage boost Hanzo's dragons with Mercy. But you have to damage boost Hanzo when he's pulling the bow and releasing the arrow, not when the dragons are already spinning, because it won't have an effect. But damage boosted dragons will, I believe, outdamage a Transcendence. That is ridiculous. It will be pretty much a team wipe. When Zarya's got ult, it should normally be a team wipe. and it's kind of annoying. Yes, annoying. The only thing that can combat that is D.Va, because obviously D.Va can eat the Graviton Surge. She can also eat the Hanzo ult. One footage in the background we got here, I believe, is a Zarya combo with Pharah. That's also pretty effective. Problem is, Pharah has to be pretty close quarters to get her ult to be effective. Now you can kill, obviously, Pharah because she's still in the air. You can kill her. Zane can kill her, or anyone can live and kill her, to be quite honest, unless you're Reinhardt. I mean, I've talked about Hanzo and I've talked about Pharah, but there are countless things you can combo a Zarya ult with. You got the Bigger Bang with a D.Va Bomb, but very often you don't have Zarya and D.Va together because they're two off tanks unless you're playing like a more than two tank sort of meta, like a Reinhardt, D.Va and a Zarya. You see that on Oasis University sometimes. You can combo with Genji's Dragon Blade. You can combo with a Junkrat Riptire. There's countless things you can combo. So what? That's Pharah 1, Genji 2, D.Va 3, Hanzo 4, Junkrat 5 things you can combo with. Then you have, especially if the Zarya is charged, highly charged, then she's going to do a heck of a lot of damage into a grab. Then you have Reinhardt swinging his hammer in there. Very often Reinhardt can get play of the game just swinging his hammer into a Zarya grab, and suddenly you're looking. That's why Zarya's grab very often results in a team wipe, because very often out of Genji, Junkrat and Hanzo at the moment, you're going to have one of them on your team. So, and if you're going to run a Zarya, you're most probably going to have a Reinhardt in your team who's going to inflict a lot of damage in that grab. So, that is my 3 most hated comps to play against in Overwatch. By far, the Zarya combo is annoying right now, but it's kind of the meta we're in, because Hanzo's had his rework and he's so strong. You're in a Brigitte meta where she stuns everyone, but Brigitte very often is paired with a Reinhardt, unless you're in the Overwatch League and you play it with a Winston or D.Va. But at level, or in general comp and on live servers, generally Brigitte is partnered with a Reinhardt, and then when you have Reinhardt, generally the off tank will be a Zarya, and then you have that big ult, and it just makes Hanzo more effective, and then it brings people in, like, we're gonna have a second DPS, and there's a lot of Junkrat about, and Genji can still be played despite Brigitte. So yeah, that's my 3 most hated comps to play against in Overwatch. Please let me know if you have some comps of your own that you think are pretty bad. I know I haven't included Dive, but I don't think Dive is that bad to play against. I just think there was too much of it, and now obviously we're seeing more diversity anyway. But I think people hated Dive because there was too much Dive, not because it was... I mean, I suppose if you say there's too much Dive, then it has to be OP, because... yeah. That's another conversation, Dive, but Dive is not as prevalent anymore, thank God. We're seeing much more diversity in terms of Overwatch comps these days, whether that be for the better or for the worse. But, for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then!